Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to my presentation, 3 pro tips on how you can use astrology to become a master manifester. I'm Phaedra, and I am the artist and astrologer behind Mystick, Physick Astrology. And if you can bear with me just 1 second, we are going to share the live video stream into the Sidereal Insights Astrology Facebook group just quickly. So I am going to share this into my group before we get started. There we go, Sidereal Insights. And if you're not in the group, I definitely recommend, definitely join our group. We do a lot of astrological talk and intention setting and releasing in Sidereal Insights. Okay, so we're all done. I have shared that there. So I want to welcome you to the presentation. We are here to talk about 3 pro tips for how you can use astrology to become a master manifester. And like I said, I'm Phaedra. I am the artist and astrologer of Mystick, Physick Astrology. I use Western Sidereal Astrology to help you reconnect with your soul purpose and discover your most joyful service in the world. And at the end of this live stream, you are going to know how to honor your commitment to regular intention setting without losing momentum or feeling overwhelmed. You're going to learn a simple astrological hack for supercharging your manifesting, and you're also going to learn how to make more space for what you truly want in life to come to you. And then stick around at the end of the broadcast. I'm going to give you a bonus tip to help you instantly double your manifesting power, but that I'm saving for the very, very, very end of the video. Today, I want to talk about why you might be struggling to manifest what you really want and how you can not only turn that around, but also how you can amplify your results using astrological principles. And so please take a moment, if you would, share this out, tag a friend. If you know someone who would be interested in joining us to learn how you can use the ancient wisdom of astrology to increase your manifesting ability, just let me know when you're done sharing in the comments. You can type shared or done or just tag your friend. And thanks again for joining me, those of you who are on live. So how many of you, I'm curious, struggle with manifesting? Just give me a thumbs up in the comments or like on the video if you've ever struggled to manifest or felt like you're struggling to manifest what you really want out of life. And think, if you would, for a moment, if you kind of reflect on why that may be. I'm going to talk about 3 specific reasons why, and if any of these apply to you, I want you to let me know in the comments. So 3 specific reasons. Reason number 1, if this applies to you, type 1. If it's the reason number 2, type 2. If it's reason number 3, type 3. Any of these that apply. For me, this was the big one. You don't have a regular intention setting practice. You know, I would always start with the best of intentions to sit down and set up a regular intention setting practice so that I could, you know, take charge of my own life and create the reality that, you know, I want to experience. And you know, no matter our best intentions, you start out, you know, your momentum falters, and then there you are with no practice. So that might be one reason. You might not get specific enough with your intentions either. So if this might be your issue, this is number 2. If you think this is your problem, go ahead and type number 2 into the chat box. Or if you don't actively seek to let go of what's no longer serving you, that's the 3rd reason. And that's a surprise reason that a lot of people don't think about. But sometimes it's important to make space for what you want in your life. And so here's where you say, you know, that's great, Phaedra. What do I do about it? I mean, we know what's going on. We maybe know why. Now, what do I do? Well, let's break these down one by one. So if you don't have a regular intention setting practice, one of the big ones that I recommend to people right off the bat to help kind of get you in a groove of it is to set your intentions in conjunction with the new moon cycle every month. Now, this is an astrological practice that puts you kind of in alignment with the waxing and the waning of the moon and the growth and rest cycles of the natural world. And so it can boost you're manifesting in that way, kind of in the same way that lunar gardening can boost, your gardening harvest. Ida Drew, she's saying 1, 2, and 3, so all of them. That was me too, Ida. I know. Stella is saying number 1 was a big one for her. And so this is, yes, the regular intention setting practice. Like, I don't know if any of you are followers of like Abraham Hicks or Bob Proctor or, any of these folks who advocate, writing down your intentions and setting them, right? And really, if you get into what they recommend, often they recommend having a daily practice, and that can be really challenging, I know, for some of us. And I'm absolutely for having the daily practice. If you don't have if you don't have one, it can be fantastic. For some of us, that's hard to commit to. And so if you can't do it daily, hi Allison, it's good to have you here. So yeah, if you can't do it daily, or if you find that you're not maintaining that commitment to do it daily, try once a month to start, because even that is something, and even that is progress. And so that's why I like the new moon, because it, oh, Allison, thank you so much for sharing it out. I appreciate the video share, Allison. That's awesome. So yes, like I was saying, aligns your actions with the activities of the natural world, boosts them in that way. But it also, to do it on a monthly basis, it puts your practice on a regular schedule that you can kind of commit to honoring without feeling overwhelmed, because it's not every day, it's not too much, but it's once a month, and you better be able to carve out time at least once a month, right? I mean, if you can't say that you can carve out an hour for yourself 1 evening a month or 2 evenings a month, right? And so that's what this is about. Make this your me time. So that you can give yourself that opportunity, but not in a way that makes you feel overwhelmed or stressed out about, because you're not going to manifest what you want from a state of stress, right? So then finally what this can do, and here's one of the things I really like about setting your intentions in conjunction with the new moon every month, is that it creates a sense of urgency. The new moon, we know that the new moon and the full moon both are most powerful for 3 days, the day before, the day of, and the day after, right? So if these are the most powerful 3 days, you really want to try and act within that 3-day span, whether it's the full moon or the new moon at any month. Now, of course, in a pinch, we know that you still have a 10-day window after the new or full moon to take advantage of the energy. So really what that means is you just don't have any excuse, right? But I like that it creates a sense of urgency, because we always want to take advantage of the moon when it's the most powerful, right? So the second reason, if you don't get specific enough, so this one's interesting. I have a funny story to tell around this one, because I didn't realize for me for a long time that this was part of my issue. Stella's saying yes, she knows Abraham Hicks. So I have a grocery list, a magnetic grocery list on the front of my fridge, right? And I've had it there for years, because, I don't know, it takes me a long time to go through those magnetic grocery lists. And on the top of it, it's got this retro housewife type of illustration across the top. And it says something along the lines of, I used to want to be somebody. Now I realize I should have been more specific. Yes, exactly. and I have to laugh, because I always thought that was funny and clever. Well, yeah, it is funny and clever, but because it's true. And there's the truth right there. Because it's true, you do have to be specific about what you want and about who you want to be. And let's talk about why, right? If you're not specific, the universe can't fill in those details for you, right? That's why we experience contrast, so that we can choose what we want versus what we don't want. We can identify the preferred over the non-preferred. So you can't just say, I want to be wealthy, or I want to meet Mr. and Mrs. Right, or my soulmate, or my twin flame. You can't just say, I want a better job. You have to get specific with the details. And so why, if you want to be wealthy, how much money is that? What exactly does that mean to you? When do you want to have that money by? What will you offer in exchange for it? Or if you want to attract your soulmate, get specific about what this person looks like, what their values are, what do they enjoy, how do they act? But also, what do you have to offer them in a relationship? What are you bringing to the table? If you want a better job, what does your better job look like? Is travel involved? How much does it pay? Is it going to contribute to your growth? Do you get to work from home? Do you get to have a flexible schedule? Get specific about these things. Hi, Zandra. Good to have you on. So these are the types of specifics we're talking about. Like, you can get as detailed as you want to get. And one way that you can do that, if you struggle to get detailed about what you know, and specific about what you want to manifest, visualize it. Right? That's the quickest way to get detailed, is to spend, 5-10 minutes, whatever, visualizing what does it look like? What are the circumstances of what I want to manifest? How does it make me feel to have that? Like, even get to the emotional place if you can when you're doing your visualization. And then once you're done, write down what you visualized. Like, just go through and note what those details were. And you can even, if you want to take it a step further and give it like an extra boost, this is like pro tip, draw it out. When you're done visualizing it, write it out and draw it out, right? That'll really help boost your manifesting. I actually did a manifestation, I think it was a new moon intention setting that I did in February. I think it was in February. And I drew out everything that I wanted to manifest. I'm trying to remember what house that was in for me. I really don't remember. I think it was a financial house, I think is what it was. But I drew it after I did my visualizing. I drew it and I have manifested like all but one of those things that I drew just since February. So I think that's really, really cool that drawing it out just can give it that much more of a boost. Pro tip number 2, this is on point number 2 on visualizing and getting more specific. So how can you get even more specific than visualization and drawing out what you want to manifest? Well, you can supercharge it by using your natal chart to align your intention setting practice with both the zodiac sign and the house that the lunation activates for you. So let me explain this a little bit, okay? As we progress throughout the year, each new moon happens in a new zodiac sign, and there's 12, right? One each month. So each zodiac sign represents an area of life, one of 12 areas of life, and that's determined by which of the 12 houses it occupies in your birth chart. Hi, Erin. I'm glad you're joining us. We're just talking about pro tip number 2, which is using visualization to boost your manifesting. So yes, align it with the sign and the house that it represents in your natal chart, and then you're aligning it with your birth energy. You're aligning it to your personal life experience. So that helps you get even more specific, right? Because if there's 12 new moons in a year, anybody can sit down and once a month set an intention and just randomly pick something, right? But if you use this astrological principle and go back to your birth chart, it's going to happen in a particular area of house, and area of life, and you'll progress through all the areas of life throughout a year. And that allows you to give every area of life your dedicated attention to what you want to manifest and how you want to grow and develop out of that area of life. Oh, yes, Erin, I totally understand. Got confused with the time. Yes. Thanks for reminding her, Ida. I was having trouble with the time too, actually. And I realized I just needed to refresh my browser. Silly me. So yes, explaining about aligning with your natal chart. So if you follow, like I said, the 12-month annual lunation cycle, you get to get really deliberate, and you get to really take a holistic approach to your intention setting, rather than before I started doing this in conjunction with the lunar cycles and in conjunction with my natal chart, as I felt like I was setting the same intentions every time I sat down to set intentions, right? And if if you're like me, you might have felt that same experience. And if that's what you're going through, I want you to know you don't have to go through that. And this is one way that you can take a step past that. And then finally, the third point, if you don't actively seek to let go of what's no longer serving you, this is where the full moons come in, often neglected full moons. So let's talk about what that could be like. I have 3 that I thought of as real world examples of how you could be holding on to something even when it doesn't serve you any longer. Because sometimes that might be hard to conceptualize. So give me a thumbs up on the video, or in the chat box or something, comment me here, whichever, if you find that you engage in one or more of these behaviors or habits. If you talk yourself, excuse me, I'm going to go too far ahead of myself. So if you're the type of person, and this is me, I'm going to willingly admit, if you're the type of person who neglects or avoids periodically going through your stuff, whether it's your closet or your garage or whatever, to yard sale or donate those things that you don't need anymore, you don't use anymore, they're not serving any useful purpose in your life anymore. I put that stuff off a lot. I hate doing it. Or I'll, be working around the house and come across something, oh, this can go in the donate pile, but the donate pile just gets like bigger. Or, the collection for the yard sale gets bigger and the yard sale never happens. So that's one way, right? Or if you find yourself engaging in behaviors or habits that either don't really serve any purpose at all or that cause you harm, right? So sometimes these can be habits that comfort us in some way, but maybe aren't healthy, right? That might be one way that you're holding on to something that's not serving you any longer. And then finally, another way that I think that we do this, or the way that it can manifest for some of us, is if you talk yourself out of receiving new things in your life because you can't justify it. So if you use statements like, where would I put it? I don't have the space. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I want to call those statements out for being what they are, which is lack awareness, right? Hiding right in plain sight. That's what that is. I don't have the time. Where would I put it? I don't have the space. That's lack awareness, lack consciousness. So when you catch yourself thinking those thoughts, Ida says again, all three. Yeah, me too. Me too. So it was kind of like, a ding, ding, ding moment when I realized, oh, this is some of the ways that it manifests. And it's things that you just do habitually and you don't even necessarily realize that there's a consequence, right? So this type of not letting go and how it can stifle your growth and your development and your ability to manifest new, like this can happen energetically too, right? And you'll see what I mean here for sure in a minute. But pro tip number 3, what I really want to drill down to here is getting rid of, letting go of the old makes room for the new to flow in. And that seems counterintuitive. Mindy's saying, yes, all 3 for me too. Erin, lack consciousness. Love that term. Yes. Yep. It's a habit that if you haven't trained yourself to watch for, like once you do train yourself to watch for, you find it in weird places that lack consciousness, that lack awareness. Yeah. But so speaking about where this is so true, this letting go to make room for the new, where it's really apparent in life, is in relationships, right? And so I want you to think about these 2 statements because they'll really illustrate what I mean, right? So here's my first example statement. I'll get rid of it when something better comes along. It's been working for me. I've kind of outgrown it. It doesn't really do everything I need it to do. I need the bigger, better, newer version. But I don't have the bigger, better, newer version, so I'm just going to keep this one. We all rationalize like that a lot, right? So how about this statement? I'm becoming super aware of how I talk to myself and how I am stopping myself from getting what I want. Exactly, Sandra. Here's the interesting thing, because words have power, right? And even thoughts are a type of word. They're just unspoken. And you can have a thought or make a statement about something that you really, really want and be totally in alignment with it. And then you can turn around and 20 minutes later say something completely and totally counter, and you've just undermined, you've totally just shot down what it is you just set yourself up to manifest. And we do that kind of stuff all the time, and then we want to know how come it didn't come, how come it didn't come, how come it didn't come. Well, because we keep sending these conflicting instructions out to the universe, right? So my second statement, aside from I'll get rid of it when something better comes along, is this isn't working for me anymore. I'll release this so that there's room for a new improved version to manifest. This isn't working for me anymore. That feels a little more comfortable, right? Once you realize that your thoughts are reality, it really frees you up. Yes, 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 yes. That they are and they aren't. And that's the interesting thing, is that any thought that you have that you want to give energy to, you can experience the manifestation of that in real life. But you can choose to not give energy to a thought and not have the manifestation. It's just a matter of, do you want to give the energy? And the interesting thing is that there's not really, you can't say a no thank you to the universe. Like, no thanks really means yes, please, because you're still pushing the button of like, if there's like 6 menu items, don't press no thanks on the ones you don't want, because you'll just get them too. Even if you don't want them, you'll get them because you press that button. Don't do it. So that first approach though, of I'll get rid of it when something better comes along, you wouldn't take that approach in a relationship with another person, would you? You wouldn't do that. That would be crazy. So why would you take that approach with anything else in your life? Because we know by now that everything that we manifests following the same principles, right? So if you wouldn't ever treat a relationship with another person, I'll get rid of it when something better comes along. So why would you do that to anything else? Why would you do that with your job or your car or your relationship with abundance? You don't have to do that. So holding on could be holding you back. And that is my third and final pro tip. And so what I want to make a point about with that is that back to that energy thing, the full moon is an energetic crescendo, right? It's a culmination of a particular energy. And it's the perfect time to let go, to go deep, to release what's no longer serving a useful purpose, whether that's a belonging, whether that's a belief, a mindset, a judgment, a habit, a limitation, or even a person. Okay? And then finally, what I like about doing this with the full moon as part of a monthly practice, you learn to make releasing just as much of a priority as intention setting, because it is, and we don't necessarily realize that. So, if you've learned something from this video that you want to implement, share with us in the comments. I would love to learn. And if you did learn something from the video that you want to implement, please be sure to tag a friend or share the video out if you know someone who could benefit from it. But now that you know, right, now that you know how to create a regular intention setting practice that's not going to leave you feeling overwhelmed, how to get more specific with your intention setting, and how to let go and make room for abundance in your life, you might be wondering how you can use this information to transform your relationship with what you manifest. And if that's the case, I created, over the last month and a half or so, I created a way to help you easily put these concepts to work for you in your own life. And with your permission, I'd like to share them with you. So just click the like button or give me a thumbs up if that's okay. And Allison is saying, I have learned so much. The release as part of my manifestation practice is so important. And it feels so good, doesn't it? It feels so liberating and so freeing once you're done with that release. The full moon just feels so, so good. So perfect. Thank you. The money part, Erin says, seems like the last one that we all hold on to, isn't it? Bye, Felicia. I love that. Bye, Felicia. Okay, so thank you for your permission to share this with you. So I don't have, do I have a link? If someone can copy this into, or type it into the comments, if not, I can copy and paste it afterwards. I can come back and type it in. But this is https:// if you'll type in mystickphysick.com lunar living, mystickphysick.com / lunar living. I almost forgot the / lunar living. And so what you're going to find, if you go to this link, if you click on the link, you're going to find a pair of guides that I've created called the Lunar Living Guides to Conscious Creation, and they are available for $19 each. Finally available. I'm so excited to finally make them available. And they're going to teach you how to transform your relationship with what you manifest. So even if you think that you are no good at manifesting, which is what I used to think. Oh, thank you, Allison. Yes, that looks like it. mystickphysick.com / lunar living. Exactly. Or if you think you don't know enough about astrology, don't worry about it. If you think you don't have time to learn, that's okay. Got you covered. The Lunar Living Guides to Conscious Creation, what they're going to teach you are specific steps that you can take to honor your intention setting, to make it your sacred monthly practice, and how you can get more specific, specific ways that you can use visualization and drawing. They're going to walk you through that step by step, and how to know exactly where to dive deep to consciously release what's holding you back. So it's going to walk you through each of those things. You're going to learn all of that so that you can supercharge your manifesting by aligning your intentions with your personal natal blueprint. That way you can manifest what you want the most out of all areas of your life, not just one or two, right? And make room for abundant new energy to flow into your life. And so what you get with it, you get both guides. You get the new moon guide and you get the full moon guide. I'm going to walk you through how to get a copy of your birth chart if you don't already have one. I show you how to get one for free. How to know the right zodiac sign and house for your practice each month. I'll show you how to find out which house and sign, if you don't already know, and what energies the zodiac sign and house represent, so that you'll know exactly how to put them to use, and then how to tie it all together, right? So those guides are going to walk you through each of those things. It's going to make it super easy for you to align your practice, like I said, with your own natal blueprint. And so each book includes a series of worksheets to guide you step by step through your intention setting practice, through your releasing practice. And the worksheets are designed so that you can reprint them each month. Gotcha. So that you will be able to use these over and over again throughout the year as you go through the month. You can just pull up, whichever the worksheet pages are, print them out, and then sit down the day of the new moon or the full moon and host your own self-guided intention setting or releasing practice. Even if you're, if you can't make it to the live stream in the Sidereal Insights group, you can still do this on your own. Even if you're not, you don't feel like you're a trained astrologer, even if you just are, are curious, right? Even if it's not even a hobby for you, if you don't even know that much, it's okay. We've got your back here. So the Lunar Living Guides to Conscious Creation, they are for you if you are tired of not manifesting what you really want in life, and if you struggle to maintain a consistent intention setting practice because you don't feel like you have the time. And it will work for you even if you don't know much about astrology. And so what you're getting, the new moon guide, the full moon guide, they're going to show you the key steps to manifesting what you want most, how to supercharge your manifesting by aligning with your own personal natal blueprint, and how, like I said, to dive deep and make room for abundant new energy in your life. They're going to retail for $19 each, which is a $38 value if you get them both, and I recommend you get them both just because of the value of the releasing part of manifestation, the value to that as much as the intention setting piece. So what I've done, if you're here for the video, for the next 72 hours, you can get them both at that link only for just $27. You can get them in a bundle. And so that's going to save you, I think it's $11 off the regular price. But before I forget, I told you at the beginning I had a special bonus tip for you, so don't leave. A special bonus tip, and some of you might know this if you're already in my group, a special bonus tip to help you double your manifesting power and get what you want even faster. So here's the secret. Every month, you actually have 2 opportunities to make important initiations and to release limitations. Once for your rising sign or your ascendant in alignment with your birth chart, and once again for your sun sign using a technique we call solar houses. And solar houses is also a technique we use in horoscope astrology. And so those are the 2 ways that you can put these principles to use every month. And so what that does, every new moon and every full moon represents 2 opportunities to step further into the life that you really want to lead. And so that's 4 energetically aligned opportunities each month. And so now, hi, I think we're back. If someone is still on, if you will, I'm going to get this repositioned. I was trying to recapture the signal here. My wireless signal just like disappeared or something. So yeah, just let me know if you're still on with me and we'll wrap it up. So what I was saying was I wanted to open it up for questions. So if anyone had any questions about what we learned on the live stream or about the Lunar Living Guides, go ahead and let me know in the comments. And so what I want to do is kind of just recap a little bit that if you're struggling to manifest what you really want out of life, it may be because you're not setting a regular intention setting practice. It may be because you're not getting specific enough, and it may be because you're not letting go of things that are holding you back. And so we talked today about what you can do, some astrological principles. Oh, thank you, Ida. I was worried I might have lost everybody. I was here fishing around for a signal, trying to catch it. So we, of course, talked about those 3 things, and we talked about ways that you can use astrology to boost your manifesting practice. So even if you don't use astrology, hopefully you got something that you can take away from this today, whether it's about visualizing or whether it's about setting a regular practice. If you do use astrology, now you know some ways that you can apply astrological principles to your practices to kind of give them some added oomph. And so, like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the comments. And you can ask about either, whether if it's about the live stream or if it's about the Lunar Living Guides. I'm happy to answer questions about the guides. And actually, I did want to mention one thing, because this is a question that might not come up until after, like it didn't occur to me. Because some of you know that I'm a Western sidereal astrologer and not a tropical astrologer. And so if you're wondering whether this works for tropical astrology as well as for sidereal astrology, yes, the new moon guide, the Lunar Living Guides for Conscious Creation, work just as effectively regardless of what zodiac system and regardless really of what house system, although they were written around a whole house system. But if you were wondering about that, so and then, like I was saying too, if you got value from this, share it out, tag a friend if you think it would help them, and be sure to get your guides at mystickphysick.com/lunarliving within 72 hours to get the bonus pricing, the special pricing of $27 for both guides. And thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Ida. I don't know if I am missing anyone. Sandra, I know you were here. Mindy. Thank you all for coming. It's been awesome to have you here today. If anyone catching the replay, I will be sticking around to answer questions after the video is over. So your comments and your questions are welcome. And I will see you next time. Oh, and don't forget to join me tonight in the Sidereal Insights Astrology Facebook group for the new moon in Sidereal Gemini intention setting practice. We're hosting a live stream at 6:30 Mountain. Join us there. Thank you. Bye.